What we're doing today is learning how to multiply and divide with scientific notation. So, what I like to do is cover everything up, which is what I'm going to do now, and we'll take it one step at a time, and everybody here in the class is getting a chance to see this for the second time, and maybe watching us do the recording here will help as well. So, here we go with our first two numbers. We've got both of these guys are going to be multiplied by each other, and when we multiply across, everything multiplies by everything else. So let's do the first one. The easiest one is to get the grams. What's grams times grams? It's grams squared. Okay, so grams squared is part of our answer. Okay, now we can do the coefficients, the 2.5 and the 8.32. When we multiply those guys and we run them through our calculator, we're going to get 20.800. So now we have the coefficient numbers. Next, we got to get the powers of 10. So, and you see all these dotted lines? That means these guys are all coming together in the middle here. Now we've got to get our power of 10, and let's cover up these others for just a second so we can concentrate on power of 10. Okay, there we go. Power of 10, we get a 10 squared and a 10 to the minus 6. When we multiply, the x here tells us we multiply, we're adding these two guys together. And when we add those, we get 10 to the minus 4. So we have minus 6, and we're going to take away 2 with the positive, and what's left is 4 minus. So that's how we add exponents. We literally just take the signs and use them to add or subtract. Now we're going to take the number we got over here, throw it into the middle. We're going to take our number here that we got from multiplying these two powers of 10, and that was 10 to the minus 4, and then the grams give us the grams squared. And as we come down and do our rounding, the smallest number of sig figs when we're multiplying or dividing, by the way, when we do division, smallest number of sig figs will be determined by the smallest number of sig fig numbers. So this is the smallest one. It's 2 sig figs. Start on the left, and we are going to count over 1, 2, which is why we drew the line here. And as we round, we are going to wind up with the 21, because 20 is going to be bumped up one number because 8 is bigger than 5, and we wind up with 21. But that's not scientific notation. And so to make it scientific notation, we move we move the decimal 1 to the left, and that gives us a final answer of 21. And since this moved to the left, the power of 10 has to get bigger. So 10 to the minus 3 is a bigger number than 10 to the minus 4. Okay? And that's our final answer. And that's what we do with multiply. And next we're going to do divide. For those of you at home, one of the things you can do to visualize is when you multiply, you're adding exponents. The exponents that we added in this last problem was 2, and we're adding a minus 6. Clarification? Okay. Go. And I don't want to delete. And here's our guy. We start here. 10 to the 2 is 2 to the right. Remember, the positive end of the number line is over here. And then we have 6 to the left. Starting here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's why we have 1, 2, 3, 4 to the left of 0, which means it's minus 4. Okay, there we go. Now let's go ahead and number line again, and this was a practice problem that we did in class. You can work this on your own if you want. Just cover up all the stuff that we did and start from there and do it. So we have to move on because we want to see, and here's another practice problem you can try, and bring it to me and ask me if you did it right. Dividing with powers of 10. That's a little different animal. A little bit different. So here we are with a division problem. And those of you here in the class and at home, you ought to write this down. So I will stop the recording for a moment and let everybody in class write it down. Here's our explanation. First of all, we're going to do our dividing with scientific notation and also getting the sig figs right. And it really works pretty much exactly like the other one, except in dividing these powers of 10. And when we divide powers of 10, we subtract. Okay? So it's minus a minus. And we'll see how that works in just a minute. So here we go. This number divided by this number. Okay, you see it's a division problem. And you see in where the numbers come from. And I strongly, strongly recommend that you draw those dotted lines. Yeah, that's good. Oh, that is. Yeah, we're good. So we've got 8.33 divided by 3.445. Class, how many sig figs in the smallest number? 3. Okay, the 8.33. Yeah, no kidding. 8.33. So we've got the 2.4179 is what we see in our calculator. But this guy says you can only have 3 sig figs, which is why this line right here has to be between the 1 and the 7. And 7 is bigger than 5, so the 2.41 becomes 2.42 because that's bigger than 5. Bumps that up 1. Now we're going to take that and look at what happens with dividing powers of 10. Can you see this? It's minus 4. What?
I didn't get to copy the first part.
Okay. Which is the first part that you don't have? So let's look at our powers of 10. When we're dividing powers of 10, we put our numbers in parentheses to visualize it right. And so we have a minus 4, and we're subtracting the guy on the bottom, which is a minus 8. What's a minus times a minus?
Plus.
It's a plus. Yeah, sure. So this winds up as a plus 8 and a minus 4. How does that sit? Isn't that fun? Yeah, that's good. That doesn't tweak your mind too much. Or does it? It's minus a minus. What's a minus times a minus? Why did I multiply what? I'm not. I'm subtracting the numbers. When we subtract a negative, it becomes a positive. That's all. Okay? Don't try and get too into the fine understanding. All you got to know is when we subtract a negative, it becomes a positive. Okay? And then this becomes a 4. All right? Because it's a plus 8 and a minus 4. Now you see this guy comes in for your power of 10, and our deal from up here where we divided our coefficients comes out to 2.4, and that drops in here. And oh, look, what is grams per mil? It is density. Yeah, it is. That baby is density. So this is how, if we multiply 2 units, we have a dot in between. If we divide 2 units, we have a slash in between. Don't confuse those. That's a very, very important difference. And this guy, grams divided by milliliters, is what we do with density, right? And we're going to do lab on that real soon. real soon. Yeah. And that's it. I hope you find that this helps understand our tonight's homework. And here's another whack at the business of subtracting negatives. See if I could do this as plus. If I change the sign and add, that's another way to think of it. You do the way that works best for you. And that's it for today. Good luck with the problems.